lovelies, welcome back to my channel, and if you are new here, welcome. I know I am late to the launch of these gel kits, and my friend Femi did an amazing review on them, so if you haven't seen her video yet, I would link it in my description box. But if you don't know what I'm talking about, on November the 1st, MAKARTT launched 2 new gel extension kits, and I'll be sharing them both with you in today's video. I'm also using them to create today's nail design. At this point, I don't know exactly what I will be creating. I do need to swatch them before I decide. So I'm starting off first with this collection, and this one is called xoxo Florists. It is a 12 color nail extension gel kit, and these are polygel kits. These colors on the box are actually a preview of the colors inside, and they are so beautiful. I can't wait to swatch them to see what they actually look like. And this new packaging by MAKARTT is, oh my gosh, hella cute, right? Really quickly before I get to swatching, let's see what is included in this kit. You do get the nail extension gel getting started guide and a thank you for shopping card. This box of dual forms with 12 different sizes, and you do get 6 pieces for each size. These aren't the extremely curved ones, but they do have a slight curve to them, and they are about medium length. So this is what they actually look like. A MAKARTT 180 grit hand file, and I do love MAKARTT hand files, and recently they added their slogan to their products, so it says your nail lab in a box. Your regular polygel brush with the brush on one side and the spatula on the other. You do get a base coat and a top coat, and these are both 8 ml sizes. And of course, the stars of the show, you have your 12 extension gels. Now each one of these tubes are about 15 ml, and they all come sealed. So I am going to be taking them out of the packaging and removing all the seals before we start swatching. Here are all 12 colors swatched, and I absolutely love these shades. Oh my gosh, these colors are so bright and vibrant, and they look to be really nice and opaque. The other kit that they launched is called the Seasonal Concertos, and this one is a 16 color nail extension gel kit, and this packaging is over the moon gorgeous and so detailed. Give this video a thumbs up just because this packaging is so adorable. I must give it to MAKARTT. They definitely have the cutest polygel packaging that I have seen. And in this kit, the contents are similar to the previous one. So you do get your 180 grit hand file. The only difference is this one is pink. You get a pink polygel brush, again spatula on one side and the brush on the next. You have your base coat and your top coats. Both are also 8 ml sizes, a thank you greeting card, as well as the getting started guide, that same box of dual forms, and of course 16 nail extension gel color shades. These are the same 15 ml size tubes. Now there is a quote on top of the box. It says 3 months from now you will thank yourself. I don't know what that means. Maybe it's a launch of something new that is coming. We'll just have to wait and see. So I'm going to go ahead and swatch these colors in order from 1601 to 1616. Here are all 16 colors swatched, and this collection is a mixture of both bright and pastel shades, as well as they do appear to be more of a jelly consistency. And here we have the swatches of both kits. Now the seasonal Concertos do have some unique shades, especially that grey and that chocolate brown, which I love, and the color palettes on both kits are so different. Tell me in the comment section below which kit is your favorite. They are both so unique, and it does feel nice to have a wide range of colors to choose from when it comes to adding to your Polygel collection. But for me, I do prefer the House of Florists collection because it's more vibrant, and I can see myself leaning towards that kit more for the Christmas season. And the seasonal Concertos do have more neutral colors, so if you're interested in more neutrals, that kit is definitely for you, and I would link them in my description box below. And I do have a 15% off coupon code down there for you guys as well, so you get to save an extra 15% off of these kits. And before I get into the actual Polygel tutorial, let me give a shout out to my notification squad. Thank you guys so much for being the first 3 people to get in and drop a comment on my last video, and to everyone who makes it to my videos and leaves a comment. I really love and appreciate your support. So let's get into the tutorial. So you guys would have seen by now that I decided to go with a glammed up fall inspired simple polygel set. So I am starting with pre-prepared nails, and I do have these nail tips on my Amazon storefront because it's impossible for me to ship internationally at this time without costing you an arm and a leg. I found the similar nail tips on Amazon, so you can definitely check the Amazon link in my description box below for those of you who are interested in purchasing these nail tips. And at this point, if you're creating these nails on your natural nails or on a client, you definitely want to go ahead and prep, prime, and apply your base coat. If you're interested in seeing how I do my in-depth prep, definitely check this video out right here. It is always linked in my description. And I'm applying this nude shade first, and I'm going to be working it into the cuticle area. Now as you guys can see, I did apply my base coat gel first, and then I went in with the polygel brush dipped in alcohol. This is really going to help to make that polygel not as sticky or difficult to work with, and in this case make it easy to manipulate and to mold into that peak. So I do want to challenge myself and create a V-shape French on this nail, and this is actually the first time I'm doing this particular design with polygel and not acrylic. You do want to start off by making sure that you have your basic shape down when it comes to that polygel. Remember, polygel is not going to dry unless you cure it, so you do want to focus a lot on perfecting that shape. Try to get it as close to what you want as possible, and when I'm happy with the way that that shape looks, I am going to go ahead and cure this for 30 seconds. Now this layer is really nice and thin because I just wanted to make sure that I had my basic shape down, so I'm going in with a second layer, and this is just to build up that cuticle area as well as where I want my apex to be. And I'm just going in with the base coat gel as well as my polygel brush dipped in alcohol, and I'm going to continue working this product until I'm happy with the way that my cuticle area is sealed in, as well as continue to clean up the shape that we made previously. So I'm not trying to add any more products over that shape. I'm just trying to keep the excess product on top of it. And when I'm happy with this layer, I am going to cure it again. Now you can flash cure the first layer. I will not recommend it because this polygel is opaque, so you want to make sure that that first layer is cured properly. And after curing that second layer, I did remove the tacky dispersion layer with my alcohol and a lint-free wipe. And now I'm taking that 180 grit hand file on the 180 grit side, and I'm going to perfect that V shape. Just make it nice and sharp, making sure to remove any excess dust so that way I can see what that shape looks like. And if I'm happy with it, then I'm going to move on to the next step. And now I'm taking this chocolate brown color and I'm going to be filling in that V-shaped French. Now I am going to do half of that V first and then I'm going to do the other half. But I'm not going to cure until I do both sides. And I'm really hoping that makes sense, because you do want to make sure that the polygel actually blends back into each other before curing. So I am taking my brush with my alcohol and I'm going to clean up that V shape, just to make sure that none of that polygel overlaps the nude. Honestly speaking, with the end result, I don't have to perfect this too much because it's more or less going to be covered, but I did want to do it this way to show you guys, if you're not going to be covering up the V shape, exactly how you can achieve it using your polygel. So at this point, I am going to do the other side of that V and I'm going to start blending the two different sets of polygel into each other at the tip of this nail, as well as cleaning up that nude peak that we created with our hand file. Now, if you overlap that nude with your polygel, you do want to make sure that you clean it up before you cure. This is a lot easier to do with polygel rather than acrylic, because acrylic, if you overlap it, you do need to file off that color once it gets on that nude before you encapsulate. But polygel makes it a little easier because it's not going to dry unless you cure it in the light, so that way you have more time to perfect it. So after doing this step, I am going to go ahead off camera and I am going to encapsulate this nail. And when I am finished and happy with the way that that brown has turned out, make sure that nude is nice and clean, that brown is really nicely blended and even. I'm removing any excess polygel and then I'm going to give this nail a cure, and I'm only going to cure it for about 30 seconds. And again, I am taking this cocoa brown color and I'm going to be applying it to the entire nail, going in with my base coat gel. And this is just to help loosen up that polygel just a bit. I don't want to overdo it with the base coat, because if I do that, then I'm going to make the polygel liquidy and runny and it's going to be a mess to work with. Next, I dipped my polygel brush into my alcohol and I'm going to start manipulating the polygel at the cuticle area first. I like to make sure that my cuticle area is nice and flush before starting to work the polygel down the rest of the nail. And I did end up doing 2 layers of this color, but I only showed you guys 1 layer on camera, which is the first layer, which is what you're seeing now. And then I went in off camera and applied that second layer. I did cure in between each layer for a full 60 seconds. Now, because this is sort of a jelly-ish brown, it wouldn't take that long to cure, but it is a little bit opaque, if that makes sense. So you do want to make sure that you over cure that just a little bit to help the light to penetrate all the way through, so that the gel of itself is going to cure all the way. After curing those 2 layers, I am going to be taking the BeGlamorous 3-in-1 gel and I'm going to use this to encapsulate the entire nail. Now, if I was doing this on a client, I will definitely use my clear polygel or my clear builder gel to encapsulate these nails. But seeing as I'm just strictly going on my practice hand and I already have 2 coats of that polygel or 2 layers of that polygel on this nail, I'm just going to fill in any imperfections with this base gel. So I am going to be applying that nude polygel, and this one is called Chrysanthemums. I hope I'm pronouncing that the correct way. And I'm going to be applying this to the entire nail. Again, starting with my base coat gel to spread that polygel out and just make it easier for me to manipulate, and using the alcohol so that the polygel doesn't stick to the brush as well. This actually helps it to move really nice and free. I am going to start shaping out the nail. Now if I realize that I have excess polygel and I do want to remove it, I am going to remove that excess before curing. And you will notice on this nail I did not go all the way back to the cuticle area, and that is because I didn't have enough product on my brush in order to build up the entire nail. So I'm just focusing mainly where the apex is going to be, as well as the thickness of my free edge. Again, if I have any excess polygel on that nail, I am going to be removing it. When I'm happy with the way that the shape of the nail looks, I am going to go ahead and give this a cure for 30 seconds. Now I do not like adding polygel on top of polygel when it's still wet. For me, it just makes everything messy. So I rather cure that layer and then go in with a second layer, which is exactly what I'm doing now. So again, repeating the same thing with my base coat gel just to help that polygel be a little more moldable. And next I'm taking my polygel brush dipped in my alcohol, and I'm going to work that cuticle area in, as well as make sure that it is really nice and flush. And then I'm going to cure this layer for a final 60 seconds. And after curing this nail, I'm going to take the same shade of nude. I'm going to repeat the same steps on that pinky nail. If it is I were to compare this nude with an acrylic powder, I will definitely say this shade reminds me of the JC Beauty Concepts Cover Blush, which, as you guys already know if you are custom watching my videos, is my absolute favorite shade of nude acrylic powder to this day. If you are new here, you definitely need to pick yourself up a tub of the JC Beauty Concepts Cover Blush. I do have a 15% off discount code for you guys to use in my description box. So now that all the nails have been cured, I'm going to go ahead and file these babies back into shape. I do love speeding through my filing routine recently because I just find it so satisfying. And for surface filing of my polygel, I am using my Zebra sanding band. This is by MAKARTT, and I do have it featured on my Amazon storefront. You can also purchase it off of the website and use the same coupon code, so that way you save 15% off your order as well. And it comes in a set with 3 different grit sizes. I love the Zebra sanding band for finish filing or surface filing, especially with my polygel, because I don't want to debulk the nail. I just want to make sure that there are no imperfections in my polygel. Sometimes I will just go in with my hand file and do this step because, as I always say in my polygel videos, it is so easy to file polygel. It doesn't take that much work. So what I'm using the 180 grit hand file that is included in this kit to do is just to redefine the shape of my sidewalls as well as the free edge of the extension. So I'm just going to finish doing this and I will be back. One final step when it comes to finish filing is turning your client's hand around to make sure that all the nails are at the same length as well as they look perfect from their viewpoint. This is where you're going to see what your client sees, and this is going to make so much of a difference in your final product when it comes to producing nails. That viewpoint is key to make sure that everything falls in place where it needs to be. So I did go ahead and cleanse the nail with my alcohol and my dust brush, and I'm taking the no wipe gel top coat that is included, and I'm going to be applying this to the entire nail. I am using this to adhere my crystals to. Usually if I'm doing this on a client, I will apply my MAKARTT rhinestone gel. It is my favorite. Those stones do not move, and I will also throw that link in the description box below. Trust me, you will not regret it. It is thebomb.com. So I'm just going to be placing some Swarovski crystals around the cuticle area of this nail. After I do that, I'm going to remove any excess gel off the sides just to help to maintain that shape even more. After I do that, I am going to pop this into the light and give it a 30-second cure while I repeat the same thing to this finger. On this finger, I'm going to be applying my no wipe gel top coat once again, and then I'm going to be adhering a few crystals to the tip of the nail, as well as including some micro beads in between, just to give it that final look. I love applying micro beads with my crystals. It just completes the entire look. After I do this, I am going to pop it into the light once again and cure this nail for 30 seconds. So for my V-shaped nail, I do want one side of it to look more crisp than the other because I'm going to be covering the other side with my rhinestones. So I'm taking Roasted by Madame Glam as well as my Veronique's Shop Striper brush, and I'm going to be outlining this half of that French. Now I did share this holographic glitter gel polish with you guys in the last video that I posted with the Madame Glam swatch video, as well as the live swatches that we did last Monday, and this is actually Madame Glam's release for this month, and it's their last collection for the rest of the year. And I went off camera and applied my no wipe gel top coat to the entire nail. So now taking those same Swarovski crystals and my micro beads that I applied on the cocoa brown nail, I am going to be applying this all the way down that line, making sure that everything lines up nice and straight before I go ahead and cure this nail. And that was it for this set. I really hope that you guys enjoy this simple but glamorous polygel fall inspired nail design, and I will have a clip of the final result at the end of the video to share with you guys. If you're joining me for the premiere of this video, I want to say thank you so much for taking the time out and chatting with me in the live chat, and go ahead and leave me a brown heart emoji with your comments in the comment section below. So that is it for me. I hope everyone is having an amazing day or night, whatever time it is where you are right now. Don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe, and turn your post notifications on to always notify. Remember, I upload new nail tutorials every week, so you don't want to miss out whenever those videos drop. As always, I would love for you guys to stay glamorous, be safe, and I'll see you soon.